Heartland is delighted to be here today with Marion Johnson. Mr. Johnson is a proprietor of Johnson Shoe Repair. So thanks for letting us talk with you today, Mr. Johnson. So,
My pleasure.
let's go back to the beginnings. You were actually born in Missouri.
Yes.
Tell us about that. You're in a small town of Warren,
Missouri? And yeah. Between Sikeston and Charleston, Illinois. Missouri. Sorry about that, Missouri. I grew up, very southern. And until I was 14, and then to Decatur.
What do you remember about, growing up in that small town? Were you on a farm or?
Farm.
Yeah.
What I remember is I don't want to remember. I wouldn't want anybody to have to live that way again. It was very humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, without going into details, very humbling. And in those days, you had grandparents and sometimes an uncle or an aunt living with you at the time, so you had a house full. But it was all because of harvest time when people, relied on family members to get in the crops, and just a very hard time. Even when I go through that area now, all those memories come flooding back, and I think, what a life.
It was hard work, wasn't it, on
Hard
the farm?
work.
And you,
And
even as a child, you were working on the farm.
Well, I was so young. At the time, I had a sister that was 3 years younger than me, and I had to babysit. And what I would do is, my parents would put us under a shade tree on a blanket, and I would watch them go all the way down to the end of the field, the turning, they call it a turning row, but it would be, they would chop cotton all the way down, and then you could see them getting drinks, and then they would start back, and in the meantime, it was just me and my sister. And, I kept her entertained and watched over her, and just, so that was pretty interesting.
And then, now your parents eventually they moved to Decatur.
Yes.
And you were still going to school there in Warren?
For 1 year.
For 1 year?
Yeah.
And then you joined your parents in Decatur after that year. You graduated from 8th grade.
Graduated 8th grade in Missouri.
In Missouri.
Yeah.
And then you joined your parents in Decatur.
Yes.
And so what did you think when you first came to Decatur? It's a different life than what you were accustomed to, I suppose.
Well, I don't think the Cabbage Patch was out then, but I would have been doing the Cabbage Patch. Because during the summer, like I mentioned, we worked all summer. And when school started, then I went back to school. But when we moved to Decatur during that summer, there was no field, no crops to tend, and no hogs or cows to feed. So I had the whole summer, and that was the first time at 14 years old that I had ever spent a summer without, doing chores.
And where were you living then, in Decatur?
Oh, Illinois Street.
On Illinois Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you started school that fall at the
Stephen
Decatur downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your memories of starting school there as a freshman?
Hot.
Hot. Yeah.
No air conditioning, and
Yeah.
it was very hot. But I enjoyed it because I was into sports, track, football, and basketball. So that's the memories I have of Stephen Decatur.
And that would have been, let's see, what was that?
I would have been
61?
63, to 64, 63, 60, no, 62 is when I was a freshman there. So that's the year we won the state.
Yeah, so you were there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember the assemblies.
Yeah.
62 and 63.
Okay. How many?
My parents moved from 64 and 65 is when I went to Eisenhower.
33.
Okay, and then you graduated from Eisenhower in '65. And then, so what was it like moving from Stephen Decatur for 2 years to Eisenhower? Was that a big change, or?
6977.
You know, back then I think it was sports, you know, kind of made everything work for you, you know.
Yeah.
You went
I mean, could you do
from
it later on?
Stephen Decatur, you were doing sports, you go to Eisenhower,
I mean,
you're
I'm
still
just
doing
asking.
sports, so you adjust, you know.
Yeah.
And so,
Did you play the same sports at Eisenhower that you were involved with?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
football, track, and basketball.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so you graduated in May of '65 or June '65,
Yeah.
and it wasn't long after that you
December.
got a letter from the
And
draft
greetings,
board.
greetings. You have been inducted. Yeah, so
And so then you went into the Army.
in December 29th of '65, Christmas, we enjoyed Christmas, went in between Christmas and New Year. What a bummer. We went to the sergeants, had all went home for the holidays, and here all of the GIs walking around in street clothes on New Year's Day.
Okay. And where did you go? Where did they send you?
Fort Leonard Wood.
Fort Leonard Wood. Okay.
That's where I took my basic. And from there I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia. It's right outside of Augusta. And from there to Huachuca, Arizona. And from Huachuca, Arizona to Washington State.
Were you going through different trainings in those different bases? Or?
Well, we were training for Vietnam,
Yeah.
you know, training.
Just wondering if you could throw 3 more eyelets in here. I just bought these about an hour ago, and they're just a little big.
Where were we at?
Oh, he's talking about your Army
Oh.
experiences.
Oh, and your question?
Yeah, you were training, you know, preparing you for the
Yeah.
possibility
Oh,
of
yeah,
Vietnam.
yeah, when we went through basic,
Well, yeah, probably.
I went to Fort Leonard Wood for basic, and then from there, I went to Georgia, and that's where I was training for radio teletype relay operator.
I see.
And so we were actually going to school,
Uh,
and did that for however long. And our company pretty much broke up into 2 sections, A and B company, and I was in C, so A and B, C and D. So A and B left Huachuca, Arizona, and went to Vietnam. C and D company left and went to Washington State. A and B company, when they got there, their gondolas had all the weapons and everything in it, and got ambushed. And some of the guys I trained with, they didn't make it back. Anyway, we were going to ship out from Fort Lewis, and during that time, the Israel-Egypt war broke out. So they froze all departures for at least 6 months. And you had to have a year left in the service before you went overseas back then. So when that war was over and they lifted the ban on travel overseas, and I only had 7 months. They tried to get me to re-enlist. Offered me, I think it was like $5,000, to re-enlist for 6 years. No way, buddy.
So you finished out your time in Washington State?
Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, and you liked it out there, right? You were planning to stay out there?
Oh, yeah. I loved that weather out there. It was rain, sun come out, beautiful. You get out and start doing stuff, look up in the sky, oh, here comes another rain shower.
Yeah.
But that was just the way it was.
But you came back to Decatur for, I guess, to visit, and then you ended up going to work at Borg Warner?
Yeah.
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 And you ended up staying at Borg Warner at the York division?
No, for about 12 years.
For 12 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And you kind of rose through the ranks, you became a supervisor there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at that time, they were looking to put some of the people that worked in the factory into supervision because they knew the jobs better than the
Sure.
guys from off the street. So
Yeah.
we could explain it to them. And,
Sure.
And another reason too was I ran for union steward because everybody was griping about our union steward spending time like that at the foreman's desk. And so whenever you know how people are, they just, well, we need to have him come over here and watch us do this or what have you was back then. But he would spend his time, well, we call it hobnobbing with the, so I ran for union steward, won it, and it wasn't too long after that the company approached me and offered me a job because I was writing grievances, you know. So they figured, well, let's get this guy out of the union and get him in the company. So I went company, and that's where I was up until they sold out.
Yeah. So then you were briefly and decided
About 7 months.
Yeah, decided that foundry wasn't for you, and then started looking for a business.
Yeah.
And your dad helped you get into a shoe shine business for a while, which you ran, and you were also going to school at the same time.
Correct.
At Richland.
Correct.
And in those days, Richland was still at the Milliken Bank building?
Well, when I started into business, it was actually out in Park 101.
Oh, okay.
But I did take some classes at Milliken.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what was that like, taking classes at the old Milliken Bank building?
You know, it's been so long ago, I just remember it was more like a classroom because Stephen Decatur was right over here where I went to high school.
Right.
And I'm at an old bank over here. And it
one old building to another.
Yeah. After being in service and then going into Milliken building, or I think that's what they call it, Milliken building. But it just felt like being in high school again. So.
Yeah.
That's hard to find, really.
I didn't go for very long. That's like I took
That's perfect.
maybe
That will work.
3 or 4 classes, basic classes.
Yeah. And then you started working with Dave who had Dave's shoe repair for a while. And you started to learn the business of shoe repair.
Yes. And that's kind of where it took off from. I mean, I'd had that shoe shine business for a while.
Yeah.
But once I got into shoe repair, it was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been ever since.
Yeah. And you ended up kind of buying out Dave's equipment?
Well, he just basically shut down, and for a period of time, he held on to his equipment. And when he finally decided he was going to not do it anymore,
You know what, he'll be there when I get back.
he offered up some of the machinery.
So you started with that machinery.
And wound up working with that machinery.
Yeah. But over the years, and you've been in this business now for what, 40 years? Something like that? 42 years. And you have acquired the equipment from many different shoe repair shops. Many people in Decatur would remember Greenberg's. And you got some of their equipment.
Still using it.
And still using it. And you know, we looked at some of that earlier. It looks like some of that equipment may be 100 years old.
older than any of us. you know,
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
so, yeah.
What do you love about this business? Because you clearly love it.
I think it's just meeting people, sharing, sharing spiritual experiences. Just we talk about some of everything when people come in, and sometimes it's tiring. At the end of the day, when you talk more than you've worked, you're even tired, more tired than
Yeah.
if you had worked all day. But it's good to just talk to people, because you'd be surprised at all of the different personalities and all of the different things that are going on in people's lives today.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think, well, maybe I helped them.
Yeah.
I gave them food for thought, or a word of advice. And I meet a lot of Christian people, and that's very rewarding.
Spirituality seems to be important to you.
Very important. The most important thing there is in my life.
I noticed the Bible out here when we walked into your waiting room.
Yeah. A lady actually gave me that Bible. She was a customer, and she came in and she said, "These are the Bibles they have in hotel rooms and, you know, different." And she said, "I have one." She said, "You want to put it on your table over there?" And I said, "Sure." And but it's just I think the spiritual atmosphere, when people walk through that door, they know. They don't have to guess. And we do have posters and stuff around. I think I get more enjoyment out of meeting other Christians. And people will open up once they find out where you are, because a lot of places you don't go in and you hear Christian music. You'll hear music, but it's not Christian music. And that's all we play here. And so I would say that's probably my greatest joy out of doing this, is dealing with people that's traveling the same road I am.
The connections.
Yes, yes.
The other thing that I've noticed is that your shoe repair business, but you do a lot more than shoe
Oh,
repair.
yeah. If we relied on shoe repair only, I wouldn't have been in business this long, but we do a little bit of everything: golf bags, coats. This time of the year we do a lot of coats. And just purses, revamping purses. People have old antique stuff they want to hold on to, and we got a purse up there now that the lady has had since back in the 60s, and she's held on to it all that time, and her dog got a hold of it.
Okay.